Good afternoon, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Alright, let's get right into the news here because there's quite to cover on this Wednesday. And it looks like the mainstream media, including MSNBC here, is befuddled by the number of Hispanics changing the registration from Democrat to Republican, and supporting Republicans over Democrats. They are having a hard time understanding why Latinos are flocking to the GOP rather than the Democrat Party. Well, it's pretty easy to understand. The Democrat Party endorses abortion all the way up until the time of birth and after birth. They support all the transgender issue. So mutilating children, that's something that the traditional Latinos do not like. Also, their embracement of homosexuality and gay marriage is another big red flag for Latinos. And once again, why many of them are changing their registration from Democrat to Republican. And of course, it's the economy and immigration. Yes, immigration. Who would have thought that citizens of the country don't want illegal immigration? Whether you're Latino or not, you don't want it to happen. And so these main issues that are currently plaguing the Latino community, and they don't see leadership that represents them within the Democrat Party, are now switching over to Republicans, where one voter said that the Republican Party for the most part still supports God, still supports, individual freedom, and wanting to increase prosperity for everyone, not just for a select elite, a few, and of course, pushing the LGBTYFC agenda down your throat is not what the Republican Party is all about. Of course, we know that our Democratic colleagues over there absolutely have embraced that. They embrace child mutilation. That is their top issue. That is what they are pushing in public school systems across the country, where they are using teacher Judeans to continue to push this perverse type of thinking. So we have video here from MSNBC and reporter absolutely dumbfounded on why Latinos are flocking to the GOP, because in their minds, they should be voting Democrat, always voting Democrat, because you're Latino. That's why it's pretty hilarious. We did a segment on this earlier. Was it this week or last week? Like maybe it was late last week or over the weekend. There was another segment that was taking place. And they were again shocked by how many Latinos are flocking to the GOP. We go ahead and take a listen. Let's go ahead and play it. In conservative stronghold states like Texas, signs of a political shift among Latino voters, with more now leaning Republican. You were a Democrat, and you are now a Republican. Why? I love how the reporters why? Very shocked. Why? Why are you fleeing the Democrat Party? The party that chose to, keep you guys as lawn care maintenance workers and in the kitchen. And of course cleaning hotel rooms, being maids. Me and Danny's a white? Why would you want to go to become a Republican? And so the fact that the Democratic Party has changed a lot and identify more with the Republican Party, what things were forgotten. Country, family and hard work. All the things that Democrats are not for God or not for country. They're not for. What else does he say? Want a signs of a political shift among Latino voters, with more now leaning Republican. You were a Democrat, and you are now a Republican. Why? Because the fact that the Democratic Party has changed a lot and identify more with the Republican Party. What things were forgotten: country, family and hard work. Family and hard work. God, family. Hard work is what therefore Democrat Party I can absolutely tell you with 100% certainty. They are not for any of those things. We'll say you still vote blue to now he's also a Republican, and most concerned with immigration and beefing up border security. What are the concerns you have about immigration? The fact of the matter is that we don't feel safe Don't feel safe, high crime. Once again, MSNBC has no idea why Republic or Latinos are flocking to the Republican Party, and why this is going to be a massive wipeout for Democrats come November, because this voter base, that they thought they had their tentacles wrapped around, does not identify with them, not whatsoever. All the issues that Democrat Party thinks are important, or not important for Latinos, and many Americans actually, when you start breaking it down to some of the stuff that are really impacting Americans, it's of course, the economy, inflation, security, crime. Those things are the top issues right now in this election, and Democrats think it's other things, but it's not. And huge news. I'll read your Washington Examiner article, but it's all over the place. New York Times, every other publication. Trump calls on Supreme Court to block DOJ from using classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago. there is a very good chance that Supreme Court will side with Trump. At least, we'll side with the fact that he had executive privilege as president. He had the power to classify and declassify anything at the highest security clearances president. And there have been other presidents who've had this type of situation, but it wasn't sensationalized in the manner. It is with Trump, essentially clear as Donald Trump of any potential criminal conduct. It's not my words. It's President Obama's words. Lawyers were President Donald Trump called on the Supreme Court to reverse an appeals court ruling that reversed the lower court ruling allowing for a special master to review allegedly classified documents he's at Mar-a-Lago. Last month, an appeals court panel for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit granted the Justice Department's request for a partial stay of a lower court order allowing the DOJ to continue its criminal investigation using roughly 100 allegedly classified documents the FBI seized from Trump's Florida resort home. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is there's no way for the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the Department of Justice to know if he had classified those documents. They're venturing into uncharted territory because they despise Trump. They don't even think that he was a real president. Okay, these are the same people who react in horror if you say the same things about them, but they don't think that Trump was legitimate. So they're just gonna go into Mar-a-Lago even though he was already discussing all of this with the National Archives. See, they don't have anything to indict Trump on. They already know that he removed the documents. He did so as an ex-president, not as a Secretary of State siphoning classified data onto servers running outside of the United States government. It was a cybersecurity nightmare, not boxes of a former president, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation already knew was at Mar-a-Lago, and actually told Trump to just add another padlock to the storage facility. This is in a dispute with the National Archives, and the Presidential Records Act doesn't even have an enforcement mechanism. You don't go to prison for 10 years or whatever. There's no stipulation. There's no part of the Presidential Records Act that actually enforces or lists any penalties, much less any federal felonies. So the 11th, okay, so let's see. The three-judge Powell's decision last month was a win for the DOJ, with the appeals court reversing Judge Island Kansas' determination. The DOJ would have to provide cease documents with classified markings to Special Master Judge Raymond Dearie for independent review. And Trump's lawyers out of the unwarranted stay should be vacated, as it impairs substantially the ongoing time-sensitive work of the Special Master. Moreover, any limit on the comprehensive and transparent review of material season, the extraordinary rate of the president's home erodes public confidence in our system of justice. Well, that everyone knows they're after Trump. It says nothing to do like when you see these historians on MSNBC, oh, this was unprecedented. Yeah. Those historians might not know that. There's never been an incoming candidate investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It's never happened before. You could have easily said, oh, we're gonna investigate President Obama for having a different foreign policy than his predecessor Bush. That was the knock on Trump. Do you believe he altered U.S. foreign policy towards this country or that country? Yeah, that's what people voted for. You voted for a different foreign policy. It shouldn't be criminalized. But here, this is very interesting. If you look, ladies and gentlemen, this is all over the place. And we'll just look at Axios. Trump asks Supreme Court to weigh in on Mar-a-Lago classified documents probe, but this is very important. Why it matters. Tuesday's emergency request by Trump's legal team marks an escalation in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents, bro. Justice Clarence Thomas, he was assigned to oversee emergency requests in the 11th Circuit. Wow. Requested the DOJ respond to Trump's petition by 5 p.m. Eastern on October 11th. Wow. Driving the news, Trump's legal team in the filing asked a special master to be allowed to review the roughly 100 documents marked as classified that were found at Mar-a-Lago during the August search. So the special master ruled in Trump's favor, then a lower court, of course, sided with Trump, sided with the DOJ. And then we're waiting for the Supreme Court to weigh in on this. See, he's gotten a number of legal victories and special master himself as a legal victory for Trump. But this shows you that they don't really have anything, like there's no need to investigate whether Trump committed a crime. That is a stupid concept. When you have these attorneys who happen also the liberal Democrats, They must not know anything about the law, because you either committed a crime or you didn't. You don't investigate whether the existence of a crime, whether there's a crime that took place, possibly somewhere in the known universe linked to Trump. That's called just political. Going after your political opponents. Watergate was a break-in and of-story crime, then a cover of obstruction of justice, then, so a crime occurred. With Bill Clinton committed perjury, he lied under oath, crime. Okay. If someone if there's a cold case, God forbid, a crime had been committed, that a crime had been committed. They're looking for the culprit. Okay. We don't know if a crime has begun, but they didn't even know why. Initially, the Bureau went after Trump at Mar-a-Lago. They had no clue people had. No clue. Okay. So that's the problem with American politics. You have these highly educated, morally superior liberal Democrats who think Trump committed this crime. They did the same thing with Stormy and campaign finance, mainly with the Kremlin and Trump. He was an operative. They accused him of a baseless claim, and then they investigate to see if their baseless claim is accurate. With Trump's claims, Trump has a lot of claims never been investigated. They've never been really investigated. AI, and you haven't had cell phones taken from people? You haven't had people's homes raided? His claims have never been investigated. And so any claim Democrats make the Federal Bureau of Investigation just needs a pretext? Well, we have an informant? There's an informant on the door on probe trial next week. And I mean, nobody's interested in that. But that is going to be huge. You get one conviction. If he doesn't get a conviction, oh, my God almighty. You know what? John Durham should never have been chosen for the case. But he already sent an agent to prison years back in Boston. So it's not like he doesn't understand how government officials hide behind their bureaucratic posts to commit crimes. I mean, John Durham is an excellent prosecutor. So it's like, I can't imagine him not getting at least one conviction next week. But he gets one conviction, then we move forward with a Trump Republican House. How they're even talking about the Senate. I mean, this is like a completely alternate universe, American political, like a Twilight Zone dystopian American political scene. Never in the history of this country could we be in such dire economic condition? And still Democrats have a foothold on the Senate? Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because of all of media algorithms. Hollywood, late night, loyalists in the US government, who say we'll stop Trump. All of these it's not even feasible, or it makes no sense at all that we could be on the brink of a 2008 moment with crime and homelessness soaring, and people would still vote Democrat just because they believe Trump murderer bars are extreme, and they're extreme because they acted. Trump is acting exactly in the manner that his political adversaries acted when he defeated Clinton. This isn't rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. The American political sensibility, the American political scene revolves around the sensibilities of morally superior liberal Democrats when they don't believe Trump is a legitimate president. They'll tell you, if Trump says the same thing about them, it is like an abomination. And it's blasphemy and, oh my God, and that's enough for people to actually vote for poverty. Poverty was at 10.5%. Under Trump, it is a 14.7 to 15%. Under Biden, that's the whole point to being a socialist or like a liberal Democrat, is that you want poverty to decrease, not increase, but it's increasing under Democrats. So how they're even competitive in the Senate? I don't know. But anyway, this is going to be huge, ladies and gentlemen. Supreme Court size with Trump, that will be absolutely huge, and it would just bolster the fact that you can't hide behind a criminal investigation. If you think someone committed a crime, you need a crimes had been committed. I hope the Supreme Court sees that. And if the rebuttal is, well, he took documents while Clinton did do, but all she has siphoned classified data on via the way Hillary is running in 2024. Go check the New York Post. But I want to Hillary Trump 2024 would be fantastic. Thank you very much. WWG1WGA. Give me your thoughts below.